What's up, traders? It's Nico, Inefficient Market with MIC. Welcome to my trade recap of today, Tuesday, October 16th. I'm back from Vegas. That was fun. Wife and I had a great time. Did some light trading yesterday. I think I had one trade yesterday. I know myself, and sometimes when I miss a couple days, over basically a long weekend for me, I might get FOMO, or I might get myself into some more prone to being in trouble. So didn't press many buttons yesterday at all. But before we get into it, I'm not licensed, I'm not registered. This is not investment advice, even if it sounds like it's investment advice. I'm just sharing with you my trading for today, and I guess let's just get right into it. So I started with FLKS. I made a plan in pre-market. Love the gap, and thought that I'd make good coin on that today. Unfortunately, it was not the case, and it ended up being a monster fade. I mean, what a miss. A high of 1.4s, all the way down to 70 cents. I mean, geez, man, congrats to anyone who nailed that thing. I wish I could join that group, but especially after I made my plan, and that's the only thing I made a plan for. But it's just not the way I played my hand throughout the day. So I got a nice short on it in the morning. It was just a scalp though. I was just trying to get a feel on it, and then I kind of left and just never came back to it. And once it started fading, I didn't want to chase it, even though clearly that would have worked. But it's just not my style. And that's what happened to that. So again, if you nailed that thing, congrats. I mean, huge payday for shorts on that open. From there, I think I went to ears, and I had a short on there, which worked out nice. But again, just a scalp. Kind of join the party to see what I could figure out with it. But just a scalp, not much to mention. Kind of left it alone the rest of the day, and that was that. So pretty much felt like I was gonna miss most of the day, and figured, well, maybe it's just the second day back. Since I got back from Vegas, and maybe it's just not my not for me this today either, and I'll just take it easy, and I don't want to get myself into trouble. So maybe I'll just go full force tomorrow on Wednesday. But I keep my mind open, and I wait for things to set up. If the opportunity arises, I will participate. I will strike. And so I just remain patient, and luckily opportunity came knocking. So I think that was FFHL. So I think Bao alerted that a chat room was buying that, one of my favorites. So I brought it up and started hitting it. So just a couple scalps right off, just shortly after the open, first 10-15 minutes, and then we kind of wicked up here on 320. I was curious to see what would happen. I wanted to cover up after that because I thought maybe we might press and go higher. Hold VWAP. That's what happened. We got this beautiful 1 minute candle with the biggest volume at that point, and she did stand up a good 40 cents. So really nice move there. That kind of showed everyone maybe what the hand was. I was not privy to the chat room that bought it, if they were still in it or not. I was unfocused at that point. I didn't even care because I was just letting price be my guide. So it was enough interest for me just to know that the chat room was in it to begin with. So from that point, it's just price is the guide, and just I'm going to go to work and I know what to do. So when we failed the 3.4s and slammed back down 20 cents, I thought back into this the range of the wicks, I thought we might see 3. So I started shorting, and I started building a short position. A couple bars later, we ended up wicking here. I got a top tick on this, but I started realizing that the 3.4 level was becoming a level of interest. We stood up here, tested it, pulled back, stood up, got through it, but got a little wick and then rejected it, with a nice candle here. But that type of price action tells you that there's something going on with this 3.4 level. And when I see plays like that, I definitely want to start playing off that price action. So you'll see that I kind of chased down here, but I did start getting short at that level and then above it because I felt safe, and I got bigger here. But when I continued to add, I started getting a bit timid because I was getting big on it. This is a very thin name. I did have some healthy size on, but when we got this bar, I needed to protect myself, and I did take a good piece off here. I did hit the offer and take a piece off here because, like I said, I just wanted to protect myself. I was too big, and if this started ripping, 40 cents in the back, the blink of an eye, I just, yeah, wanted to start protecting myself. But the cool thing is shortly after that candle closed, I started seeing that, you know what, even though we're pressing on this 3.4 level, it's still, my instincts took over, and I thought, you know what, I think this is just an SSR hold, and they're trying to squeeze us here, but I suspect it's not going to hold, and we might end up seeing some selling. So that was my new plan, and I had the majority of this size on here after this cover, but once I saw these wicks where this was wicking, and we kind of were going back, kind of flirting around just above this 3.4 range, I just kept adding, and I got bigger and bigger, and I had some really nice size for this name, given how thin it was. And I guess you could say it was really risky because this thing, could stand up 40 cents very, very easily. But I did what I did, and my plan ended up being right. But if it wasn't right, I was going to start trimming this 3.6 was kind of my line. Just because you get so much slippage on thin names with size. It just sucks when you're wrong. It's really hard, but it's really sweet when you're right. So therein lies the risk reward, I suppose. So I got full size on it, and I saw this nice candle, and that was my indication that, you know what, I think we might be going sub VWAP here, and we're just gonna stay patient on it. I ended up adding a little bit more, a small ad here, and I was big enough at this point for the range and volatility and thinness, liquidity of this name that I didn't want any more at that point, and I was just gonna wait to see if we got lower, and we did end up getting lower, which was great. I mean, really nice trade. I think my average here was 3.4. I'm not too clear on that. Maybe high threes, maybe low fours, 3.4, somewhere around there. And yeah, so we got some nice VWAP test, and then we got a nice VWAP pull under VWAP, and I had some covers down there, and I started covering out, and I got out of the bulk of it. Really, really nice covers. Really happy with them. Yeah, really great trade. Really made my day. Thought I was, after that I was like, yeah, freaking nailed that. I'm done for the day. But we did end up getting a nice little VWAP test here. So I ended up putting, small back on, and then I ended up covering this action. I saw higher lows. We did have lower highs here for a while, but on this bar, I didn't like the action. The volume was coming in, and I just was like, you know what? This feels like this might, I don't want to be in this anymore. So I got out. It ended up being a good call on it. It did go as high, I covered out at like 3 or something, and it did go as high as, 35 cents higher. So nice. But then we ended up fading off, got some nice pulls under VWAP. But at that point, I was with my kid. He was up and going, so I wanted to hang out with him and, get him some breakfast and get him ready for daycare. And, we watched little Teletubbies, which is always awesome. He's on my left screen. I got two 43-inch monitors. A lot of you know that. So I give him the left 43-inch monitor, and I watch trading and chat from the right 43-inch monitor. So we do some teamwork there. And yeah, so when I got back, I saw what happened, and just like nice trend under VWAP, and that was that. So and then we faded lower from there. So obviously I could have held it all day, but I'm looking for the easy meat. I just didn't have it in me, and with that kind of size, I got to go to daycare and hang out with my kids. So yeah, great trade there. Great trade. After that, kind of same situation. I thought I would be done for the day, but if the opportunity arises, I'm going to pay attention. I'm going to look for an edge. I'm going to look for probabilities to be in my favor, and I'm going to participate. Go to work, So that ended up happening. BLNK. They PR'd that they had, they put Google Maps, Google in the headline, and I mean, just kind of silly PR. If I'm familiar with the name, it's another one of my favorite companies. Real winning company, and I know I'm looking to short it. It's just a question of when, where, and at what price. So really nice to see the PR. Saw some volume come into it immediately. It spiked and it halted, volatility halt, and that's what we got here. So really nice move. Volume comes in, halt, we resume, and now it's I got a decent scalp in here, covered under VWAP, fine. That was like I don't know, 12 or 15 cent trade there for me. So just adding to my day. I thought we might get a push up here and kind of stuff down and sit back. Playing off the 3.12s levels, the 3.12 highs here in this action. And I had a bunch of orders there, but I got filled. There were smaller orders, but I was, yeah. So when they filled, I was like, great. We were down a little bit. I was in the money on the trade, but it was holding VWAP. We stood up here, started to retest, and then it was only until this candle we wicked here. But when we got this candle, I knew I was wrong on it, but I wasn't full size on the trade. So, excuse me. I just kind of let it go to see what would happen. And I ended up getting some nice ads in there. Once we stood up here, this is quite a rip, 40 cents in a minute or a minute and a half or something. And then it rejected nicely off the 3.45 level. So then we wicked when we retest. So we got a nice level here to play off of. And that's exactly what I did. When we went back up to retest, I had my order in there. On this first one, we wicked. I like seeing the wick action, fell back, get into that 3.45 range back in there. And I think I hit a bid here to get even bigger. I think I doubled up between these two from this position. So bring my average up. I think I made a little bit of money here on this and cover it out. And then got another short off here and covered some VWAP. I was trying to be patient on this, bottom tick this, but it pushed up and I didn't like the action on the VWAP. It was just a tough call to make, and might work, might not work, might work, might not work. Not sure if I want to be patient. Should I be patient? Not sure if I want to be patient, that kind of thing. So I just ended up taking it all off there on that trade. And I covered the top basically, and then we push higher, it worked and slammed down under VWAP. So after that, that's fine. Price actions, whatever. Got down here, tested lows, the 2.85 level, that's fine. And then we started a nice trend, failed, lower highs, higher lows and higher highs here. This candle was the one that spoke volumes to everyone. This nice, let's go ahead and test VWAP, stand up, big tall range on this candle, big volume, $200,000 bar of volume. And from there, we just get a nice solid trend higher. The tell though was this candle. And when we stood up here, we instantly, the rocket ships, I've kind of said it lately a little bit, rocket ships aren't supposed to go back to the landing pads. If they do, it tends to be a red flag for longs, for bulls, and it tends to be a green light for bears. To the water's much safer. If you're bearish, you smell blood in the water, you're willing to put some risk on it. It tends to be much safer to put risk on. Potential trend reversal might be near. And that's what happened. And I was actually done with the trade at this point, and I was waiting for day two. I was hoping this kind of shorts would get stuck and we'd see some fireworks into the close. I was over the trade at that point. But my buddy Amp, he took the trade, and I assume that's what he saw. I started watching the price action, and after I saw that and I started watching it, I saw we were getting lower highs here and the holding support here. I started in and I was I started to take the trade all over again and get back in there. This time with some really nice size. I put on some really nice size here. So I started into it, added on weakness. This big up move here, this candle, I had to take some off here because I was timid on this 3.5 level, retesting this high. We were fairly close at that point to high a day action, not too far away, like 10 cents away, 15 cents away. And this thing can thin up real quick and move fast. So I protected myself only thereafter to realize that, on this weakness, kind of felt a little stuffy to me. So I put that cover back on and some more, and I got bigger. And on this weakness, I started hitting bids and I started whacking and I got bigger and bigger. But did the same thing. I kind of chased weakness, didn't like it too much when I saw this action, and felt like we're getting higher highs here, but we're trying to play off this level. Felt like it was kind of like the moment of truth was coming. I wasn't sure which way it would go, but once we got this candle and I saw a wick on the 3.3s test on that nice 3.35 level, I started adding and I got bigger and I did go full size. That trade was really nice trade. I had an orders here at VWAP already placed to provide liquidity, so those got filled on the down move. Once we got down here to test these lows, I started launching other orders to cover out the bulk of my position here. We bounced up here. I could have recycled. I failed to put any back on the 3.2, high teens, 3 teens level. But we pulled down. I bottom ticked it for some more. But then we tested, went higher. I'm watching my P&L get smaller on the trade, and I just ended up getting impatient and taking it all off. But really, really great trade. Got some nice size on it. Nice to nail the slam just before it. That's my kind of thing. I love anticipating this stuff, reading the price action, reading the chart, trying to find my edge. Our probabilities in my favor, and just really good action there. And really nice trade to add to the day. Really great day here. My first real day, I'll call it, back from Vegas, and I ended up covering the rest. I bought too much and had to sell some because I ended up covering too much, but. Really like the price action. We got a nice trend here, breakout to new highs into the close, and I'm hoping we see some new highs in after hours, because this is going to be this is going to be my number one watch tomorrow morning. But hopefully it doesn't get too far ahead of itself in the thin sessions of after hours or pre-market tomorrow. It'd be nice for it to take its time, kind of grind its way up there, and if we got some nice pushing before close, that'd be ideal for me. Set up for a nice big gap and spike. I'd be looking at that kind of price action for the short move. I think this has big potential for a big payday tomorrow. So again, this is my number one watch tomorrow. So this recap ended up being a little longer than I wanted to. I apologize for that, but those are my thoughts. Those are my trades today. I hope you guys nailed it. Again, congrats to anyone that was short FLKS all day today. Great fade there. Big congrats. And let's see what we can see tomorrow. Thank you, traders. Cheers, and we'll talk soon. Bye.